How's it, guys, and welcome to the channel. I do apologize for doing a voiceover on the audio this round. Um, we had some issues with our audio recording equipment on the day of filming for some reason, so we don't know actually what happened, but I'm quickly doing a voiceover, unfortunately. So just please bear with it. I'm going to try my best to go through everything, but I'm going to obviously keep it a little bit shorter now because now obviously I've had a bit of time to sit and think about it. So, 2023 Honda's brand new XL750 Transalp. Um, Quite a name to live up to, the Transalp name. It's right up there with the Kawasaki KLR650s. It's right up there with the Versys. It's right up there with the Yamaha Teneras. The Transalp name's got quite a name and reputation and stuff like that in the motorcycle fraternities. So it's quite a name to live up to. And you know, you guys know that we don't exactly filter stuff when it comes to our channel and our reviews and stuff like that. So I'm going to be a little bit brutal and raw in some cases. I had the bike for a little bit over a week. I did quite a lot of riding on it to try and see, where is it that it's Transalp level, if that makes sense what I'm saying. You'll see I'm just riding a little bit through town when I did the video and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm just gonna crack straight into it. Honda's recommended retail price in South Africa is 209,999. So call it 210k that you're gonna fork out for this bike. I'm a little bit 50-50 with that. Look, we know that bikes are expensive. New bikes are extremely expensive at the moment. So we look at value for money. There's a couple of things that I'm not understanding where they're getting the value for money, but I also do understand the exchange rate, and I understand that they're importing the bike, and so there's a lot to take into account and consideration. It's not an NC750, but at the same time it's not an Africa Twin. So it's a middle ground between those two. Um, there's a lot of similarity to the NC750, but then there's a lot of technical features which is more Africa Twin. In terms of the NC750 side, its rideability, its functionality, it's definitely its fuel efficiency. It's very, very light on fuel. It's very NC750 derived. The motor is very NC750 derived. Where on the Africa Twins side, it's got the Africa Twins ride height or seating height. Um, it's got that nice big front wheel. It corners like an Africa Twin. It's very, very, very nimble through the corners, very nimble through tight maneuvers and stuff like that. Ground clearance wise, it's yeah, it's a very difficult one. Look, Honda's retail price is 210k. I can tell you now, if you're gonna look at buying one of these bikes, you're gonna spend a little bit more than 210k because straight out of the gates, I'm gonna recommend get the bash plate on. Do not ride that thing off of the showroom floor without the bash plate. I know a couple of the other journalists and stuff like that have also picked up on it. The sump is very exposed. The sump sits right at the bottom. You'll see in the walk around videos in the beginning of this video, there's like a funny little black thing right at the bottom. That is actually the engine oil sump. So it's something that you actually want to protect. I'm not very happy with the way that Honda's put that onto the motor. Sorry. So it's a bit of a catch-22 situation. Um, by the time you started adding in all the extras and stuff like that, it's gonna cost you a bit more than 210k. But you know what? That's what that's what we do when it comes to biking. We buy bikes to accessorize them to make them our own. In terms of power and stuff like that, it is very impressive. It's no slouch. I'll definitely give it that. For a 750, there's more than enough power. There's a minimal difference power output wise between this new Transalp and, funny enough, the Africa Twin. So it's definitely a huge power improvement versus its NC750 babies. Um, there's a big difference in terms of the power and stuff like that versus the NC750s. It's closer to your Africa Twins power, and it's lighter than the Africa Twins. So your power to weight ratios are very much similar to what your Africa Twin would be. That's also taking into account that you don't have any accessories and stuff like that on. When you start adding accessories, obviously you're adding weight, so it's gonna balance itself out a little bit, but it's very, very solid. The torque curve on the bike is absolutely linear. It's brilliant. I'll give it that. It's just got torque for days. For a little 750 parallel twin, it's got an incredible amount of torque, and it's very usable torque. It's not ripping your arms off type of torque. The only other thing that I do want to touch on, look, I mean, obviously, like I said just now, it's got a lot of similarities to the Africa Twin, and obviously the NCs. The only other thing that I'm not like 100% sure of at the moment is the gearbox selection from Honda's side. So obviously on the ANC 750s and on your Africa Twins, which is obviously your CRF 11,000, um, you've got the options of the DCT gearbox. The Transalp, unfortunately, I haven't caught word of it yet, that they're going to bring out a DCT variant. They do have a quick shifter option on it from their side, from Honda's side. So you do have an up down quick shifter option, but it's not DCT. So I'm a little bit surprised that they haven't actually put the DCT gearbox in. But at the same time, also I'm not. And the reason why I'm saying that is because of the actual frame construction itself on the bike, which obviously also contributes to how well this thing handles. That's one thing I'll give this bike. This bike handles incredibly well. They haven't gone for their normal enclosed frame, so there isn't a frame right around the motor. They've they've gone for what we call a sway arm frame. So what's actually fundamentally happening is that the engine is hanging. It's got two pivot points right at the top that the engine's mounted on. And okay, I know a lot of people are now hearing me say that and are thinking, okay, that's a little bit scary that the motor's hanging on the frame, but it's actually not a dangerous thing. It's a very, very safe thing. Ducati's been doing it for years. There's actually a couple of others. I just can't think of them right now. But there are a lot of manufacturers that have extensive experience and their entire ranges are hanging frames. So with that, obviously the motor, although the motor is securely mounted onto the frame, only from the top, that means that there's nothing at the bottom holding the motor in. It gives you a little bit of movement on the motor. Look, you got to really push the limits of cornering and stuff like that to really experience it fully. But you've got that slight bit of movement with the motor, so it changes your center of gravity in a corner, and it makes a massive difference when it comes to cornering. So that's one thing I can give this bike hands down. The confidence that it gives you, because it corners so well, the confidence that it gives you in a corner is, there's some random dude walking across the road in the morning. Sorry, I'm watching the video while I'm doing no voiceover. So um, the confidence that it gives you in a corner it's incredible. So it's actually a very nice starter bike, if that makes sense. Um, the easiest way for me to put it is that it's small enough that it's not going to scare you, and it's solid enough through a corner. It's confidence inspiring enough through a corner that it's not going to scare you in a corner. So in that aspect, it's a very good bike for a beginner. But at the same time, a veteran, more experienced rider is not going to get bored from lack of power, from lack of the ability to open the throttle and it just goes. That's one thing I'll give this bike. It really, really has a very surprising torque curve and power output, considering the fact that it's only a 750cc parallel twin. Anyways, guys, look, as always, like I always say to you all, if you're interested in it, get down to your local Honda dealership. There's obviously Honda dealerships all over the place. Get down to your local Honda dealership, give it a test ride. They'll more than willingly, I'm sure, let you take it around the block or two, a block or two, just to get a feel for it. And it's really it's something to look at. There's not a lot of bikes coming into South Africa this year, so this is one of the new ones. Go and have a look at it. It's very nice, very user friendly. And yeah, enjoy, guys.